Hi friends, this is Ramesh. Today we are going to discuss how a Fortigate SSL VPN can integrate it with SAML for authentication. Here using okta as a SAML IdP and the Fortigate latest version 6.0 are installed here for configuring the SSL VPN. Since we have SSL VPN in Fortigate for a long back, we were used SSL VPN uses on the box itself, like user definition and group definition, and LDAP and radius-based authentication integrations are already there in Fortigate. Fortigate recently introduced the concept called SAML-based integration for SSL VPN users and the administrators. Let's jump in and see how we can configure an application in Okta to integrate them into the SSL VPN on Fortigate. Let's go to applications, add application, create new application, and SAML 2.4 is the sign-on method. Click create, enter the name of an application. Here we can give SAML SSL VPN hyphen app. If you have any logo specific to the corporate, you can enter this logo here. Otherwise, click next and configure the sign-on URL and entity URL from the service provider. The entity URL will be IP address, port number of SSL VPN /remote/SAML/metadata. The sign-on URL will be the same as IP address, port number /remote/SAML/login. The format for the name ID it will be chosen as email address because email address based name ID is configured in Okta here. Click next. I'm a customer with an internal application. The application which I'm adding is internal and which is gonna use for SSO. Once you create it, the configuration instructions to be configured on a service provider will be populated. Here you can use this for these details to configure the service provider. Here our case is Fortigate. Let's wait. Before that, go to assignments in the application module and assign the application users on those applications. Here I'm assigning only one user and save and go back. You have options to assign users and groups. In a large deployment, you may choose groups to assign these applications. Then go to IDP, copy this configuration instruction, copy this service provider sign-on URL and paste this service provider sign-on URL into the configuration which I was prepared in a notepad, and copy this identity provider URL and paste it into IDP identity URL area. And you need to download this certificate. I was already downloaded this certificate and uploaded the certificate into systems certificate under a remote certificate. You can see a certificate called remote-1 is added. The same certificate will be used here. Let's go to command prompt. Go here and detach this console. Go to the command line once again. Okay, detach this, paste the commands. So when you see show, you could see the list of configurations available on the SAML configuration on Fortigate. So the configuration will be configure user SAML. There are two set of modules. One is service provider related configuration. Another one is IDP related configuration. Service provider related, this is common for all the firewalls. The configurations will be IP address, then port number for SSL connection, then these parameters. Okay, IDP configurations, you need to upload the entity ID, then sign on URL and remote certificate which you fetched from the IDP. Okay, so here there is an error. The reason is you are not mapped with any user. At least you need to map with a single user to complete these configurations. Let's do once again. Set username. I'm gonna give my username as money@itsecurity.com. Next, click show once again and end. So I have created a user now. Then configure a group. Configure user group. Let's name that group as SSL SAML group. Enter set member. The member is SAML user, which is okta-saml-sslvpn. Hit enter. Show. Next. End. So once the group is created, go to Fortigate GUI, go to VPN, SSL VPN settings. You can add a mapping here, create new. The group which we created is populated here. You can choose the group and the portal access is full access and click OK and click apply. So once you created the user group and portal mapping, go to policy, create your policies. A policy will be from SSL VPN to, let's name it as SSL VPN policy. Okay, interface will be SSL VPN interface, and outgoing interface will be port 1, and source will be the users group, which is SAML group, and an address will be, you can mention any or SSL VPN tunnel address group. Then destination is since the split tunnel enabled on as full access profile, you can use LAN subnet here, and the service is let's keep any and click OK. Okay, now the application is configured with the policies, sir. Then let's sign out this IDP. Yeah, once this configuration is done, we can keep some testing commands on the Fortigate console to see what is happening in the backend when we try to authenticate. The commands will be diagnose debug application SAML DB and diagnose debug application VPN SSL SSL VPN -1 diag debug enable. Once we enable this configuration, just copy the IP address of the URL :10443, which is the port number for SSL VPN. Once you hit enter, there will be a redirection happens. So automatically redirect to the IDP, enter the credentials here. Once you hit login, it's logged in and redirected your service provider SSL VPN, and the login page is coming with logged in details. The user is okta-saml-sslvpn and he is authenticated. This is the full access services. You can click here and you can launch the applications which are internally hosted. Okay. In the commands, prompt, you could see the list of debug logs, which will help you to identify how the flow is happening, and if there are any issue in terms of redirection from Okta IDP to service provider or service provider to Okta, you can identify those related issues here. Okay, so predominantly these commands will help you to identify the list of issues happens when your VPN is redirecting to IDP for authentication, and once it is authenticated, the redirection happens towards the service provider to access the service provider applications. Okay, that's it, friends. Thank you for watching.